Danny walked into the office building that Monday morning, thinking it would be just another boring day at work. He had his coffee in one hand and his phone in the other, scrolling through messages while heading to the elevator. The building looked different somehow. Everything seemed cleaner than usual, like really clean. The floors were so shiny he could see his reflection perfectly. That's when he saw her. Standing by the water fountain was the tallest person Danny had ever seen in real life. She had to be at least 7 feet tall, with skin that looked like it was painted with blue metallic paint that kept changing colors in the light. Her arms moved gracefully as she cleaned the fountain with tools that looked nothing like normal cleaning supplies. Danny stopped walking and just stared. He couldn't help it. The woman noticed him looking and turned around. Her eyes were huge and golden, like a cat's eyes but way bigger. She smiled at him, showing teeth that were perfectly white but shaped a bit differently than human teeth. "Good morning," she said in a voice that sounded musical. "I'm Zara from Universal Maintenance Solutions. I am your new cleaning specialist." Danny managed to say good morning back. Though his voice came out squeaky, he was still trying to process what he was seeing. Zara looked like she belonged in a movie about space travel, not cleaning office buildings. As Danny watched, Zara dropped her cleaning cloth on the floor. What happened next made Danny's jaw drop. Instead of just bending down normally to pick it up, Zara performed what looked like an elaborate bow. She bent perfectly at the waist, keeping her back straight, and looked directly at Danny while doing it. She held the position for what felt like forever before slowly standing up. "That was the ceremonial cleaning bend," Zara explained seriously. "On my home planet, we show respect to witnesses of our work this way." Danny didn't know what to say. Home planet. He was pretty sure she just said home planet. His brain was having trouble keeping up with everything happening. Throughout the morning, Danny kept running into Zara. Every time she needed to clean something low to the ground, she would do that same elaborate bow. And every single time, she would make eye contact with Danny while doing it. It was like she was performing just for him. When Zara cleaned out the trash can near Danny's desk, she did the bow. When she picked up a pen someone had dropped in the hallway, another bow. When she wiped down the coffee machine, she somehow managed to incorporate the bow into that too. Danny's coworkers started noticing. His friend Pete walked by and whispered, "Dude, why does the new cleaning lady keep bowing at you?" Danny had no idea what to tell him. How do you explain that your building's new janitor might be from another planet and thinks bowing is normal? By lunchtime, Danny was getting nervous every time he saw Zara coming. Not because she was scary or anything. Actually, she seemed really nice. But the constant bowing was making him feel weird. Like he was supposed to do something back but didn't. When Danny came back from lunch, he found his desk area completely transformed. Everything was organized in a way that seemed impossible. His papers were sorted by date and color in a pattern that hurt his eyes to look at, but somehow made perfect sense. His computer screen was so clean it looked brand new. Even his coffee mug was sitting at an exact 90-degree angle to his keyboard. But the strangest part was his filing cabinet. Somehow, Zara had organized all his files in a way that defied logic. Papers that should have been mixed up were now in perfect order. Documents he had been looking for weeks were sitting right on top where he could see them. It was like she had read his mind and knew exactly what he needed. Danny sat down at his desk and just stared at everything. How had she done this? And more importantly, why had she spent so much time on his workspace when there were dozens of other desks in the office? Around 3 o'clock. Danny was getting water from the fountain when Zara appeared again. She was cleaning the windows nearby, and Danny couldn't help but watch. She moved like she was dancing, each motion smooth and purposeful. Her forearms worked independently, one wiping the glass, another spraying cleaner, the third holding extra supplies, and the fourth somehow managing to make the whole process look like art. Then she dropped her spray bottle. Danny knew what was coming. Sure enough, Zara turned toward him and performed another one of those perfect ceremonial bows. This time, though, she added something new. While bowing, she said something in a language that sounded like music mixed with the sound of water flowing over rocks. What did you just say? Danny asked. Zara's golden eyes lit up. I said may your rectangular workspace bring you joy and productivity. It is traditional blessing for honored witness. Danny felt his face getting hot. Honored witness? What did that even mean? And why was she calling his desk a rectangular workspace? The rest of the afternoon passed in a blur of more bowing, more impossible cleaning feats, and more confused stares from Danny's co-workers. By 5 o'clock, Danny was exhausted from trying to figure out what was happening. As he packed up to leave, Zara appeared one last time. She handed him a small device that looked like a crystal mixed with a computer chip. For you, she said, it will make your rectangular workspace even more harmonious tomorrow. Danny took the device, not knowing what else to do. It felt warm in his hand and seemed to pulse with a soft light. Walking to his car, Danny realized his normal boring day had turned into something completely unexpected. He had no idea what tomorrow would bring, but he was pretty sure it wouldn't be boring. The next morning, Danny arrived at work 30 minutes early. He told himself it was because he wanted to get a head start on his projects, but really, he was curious about Zara. The mysterious device she had given him was sitting on his nightstand. At home, still pulsing with that soft light, the office was quiet and dimly lit when Danny got there. He made his way to his desk and turned on his computer. That's when he noticed Zara was already there, cleaning the conference room windows. She waved at him with two of her forearms while the other two kept working. Danny waved back and tried to focus on his emails. But every few minutes, he found himself glancing over at Zara. Today she seemed even more theatrical in her movements when she cleaned the whiteboard. She made swooping gestures that looked like she was painting a masterpiece. When she emptied the trash, she did a little spin before performing her ceremonial bow. Around 9 o'clock, Danny's co-workers started arriving. Pete was the first to notice the show. Is it just me, or is the blue lady putting on a performance? Pete whispered, sliding his chair closer to Danny's desk. Danny looked over to see Zara organizing office supplies in the storage closet. She was humming something that sounded like a lullaby mixed with elevator music, and her movements were definitely more dance-like than yesterday. Maybe that's just how her people clean, Danny said. Though he wasn't sure he believed it himself, Lisa from accounting joined their conversation. I heard she's from that new alien integration program. My cousin works downtown and says they're hiring aliens for all kinds of jobs now. Aliens? Pete's voice went up an octave. Like, real space aliens? Lisa nodded seriously. The government announced it last month. Something about cultural exchange and workforce diversity. I guess they're starting with jobs that don't require much English. Danny felt his stomach do a little flip. So Zara really was from another planet. That explained a lot, but it also made everything more confusing. Throughout the morning, Zara's cleaning routine became increasingly elaborate. When she mopped the floor near Danny's section, she did what looked like a complex dance routine, complete with spins and what might have been alien tap dancing. The mop moved in patterns that seemed to follow some kind of mathematical formula. But the bowing continued. Every single time Zara cleaned something low to the ground, she would find Danny in the room and perform that same ceremonial bow. The eye contact was getting more intense too. It was like she was trying to communicate something important, but Danny had no idea what. By lunchtime, word had spread around the office. People were finding excuses to walk by wherever Zara was working. Some were taking pictures with their phones, though they tried to be sneaky about it. Others were openly staring and whispering. Danny felt bad for Zara. She was just trying to do her job, and now she was becoming the office entertainment. He wanted to say something to his co-workers, but what could he say? Stop staring at the alien. Janitor who keeps bowing at me. During lunch, Danny stayed at his desk and looked up information about the alien integration program on his phone. There wasn't much official information, but he found some news articles about aliens being hired for various jobs around the city. Most of the articles focused on how well the aliens were adapting to human work environments. One article mentioned that many alien workers were struggling with human social customs and workplace etiquette. It said that misunderstandings were common and that both humans and aliens were still learning how to work together effectively. Danny thought about this as he watched Zara clean the break room. Maybe she was just as confused about human customs as he was about alien customs. Maybe the Boeing thing was her way of trying to fit in, even though it was having the opposite effect. When Danny came back from getting coffee, he found Zara reorganizing his desk again. This time, she had arranged his pens in a complex geometric pattern that somehow made it easier to find exactly the pen he needed. His papers were sorted in a way that seemed to predict what he would need to work on next. "How do you do that?" Danny asked. Zara looked up from where she was adjusting the angle of his stapler. "Do what?" "Honored witness, the organizing thing. It's like you can read my mind." Zara's golden eyes got even brighter. "On my planet, we believe that workspace harmony reflects inner harmony. I observe your patterns and create systems that support your natural workflow." Danny was impressed despite himself. "That's actually really smart. Thank you," Zara said. And for the first time, she looked genuinely happy. Many humans do not appreciate systematic approach to workspace optimization. As the afternoon went on, Danny started paying more attention to what Zara was actually doing instead of focusing on the Bowie. He noticed that she never left a job half-finished. She cleaned things that other janitors usually ignored, like the inside of desk drawers and the tops of picture frames. She even organized the supply closet so efficiently that people could actually find what they were looking for. But the Boeing situation was getting worse. Now Zara was Boeing not just when she dropped things, but whenever she cleaned anything below waist height. The trash cans, the lower shelves, the electrical outlet she dusted. Every single bow was accompanied by that intense eye contact and sometimes by alien phrases that sounded like poetry. Danny's coworkers were definitely talking. He caught fragments of conversations about alien mating rituals and intergalactic romance. Someone had even started a betting pool about when Danny would ask Zara out, which was ridiculous on so many levels that Danny didn't know where to start. By the end of the day, Danny was exhausted from all the attention and confusion. As he was packing up, Zara appeared at his desk one more time. "Did the Harmony device improve your productivity today?" she asked. Danny realized she was talking about the crystal thing she had given him yesterday. "I left it at home," he admitted. Zara looked concerned. "But how did you achieve optimal workspace energy without proper harmonic resonance?" Danny had no idea what she was talking about, but he didn't want to hurt her feelings. "My desk was really well organized. Thank you for that." Zara's expression brightened. "Tomorrow I will bring additional optimization tools. Your rectangular workspace has great potential for harmonic excellence." As Danny walked to his car, he couldn't shake the feeling that things were about to get even more complicated. But for some reason, he was looking forward to it. By Thursday, Danny knew he had to do something about the situation with Zara. The Boeing had escalated to the point where she was practically performing a floor show every time she cleaned a section of the office. Yesterday, she had spent 20 minutes doing what she called deep harmonic cleaning of the area around his desk, which involved a lot of bowing, some kind of alien chanting, and rearranging his office supplies into patterns that looked like crop circles. His coworkers were no longer trying to hide their stares. People from other floors were finding excuses to visit their department just to watch what they were calling the alien cleaning show. Someone had posted a video on social media that was getting hundreds of views, though thankfully Danny's face wasn't clearly visible in it. Danny decided to talk to Zara during her lunch break. He found her in the building's small garden area, sitting on a bench and eating what looked like metallic soup from a container that seemed to be made of liquid mercury. "Hi Zara," Danny said, trying to sound casual. "Mind if I sit down?" Zara looked surprised but pleased. "Of course, honored witness. It would be my pleasure to share this resting space with you." Danny sat down, trying not to stare at her lunch. "I wanted to talk to you about the cleaning thing." Zara's golden eyes went wide. "Have I failed to meet your workspace harmony requirements? I can implement additional optimization protocols." No, Danny said quickly. "Your cleaning is amazing." "Really? It's just the Boeing thing that's making me a little uncomfortable." Zara's face fell, and Danny immediately felt terrible. Her metallic blue skin seemed to lose some of its shine, and she set down her soup container with all four hands. "I have offended you," she said quietly. "I knew my understanding of human customs was inadequate, but I hope to learn through observation and practice." "You haven't offended me," Danny said. "I'm just confused about what it means, and honestly, it's making my coworkers act weird." Zara pulled out what looked like a small tablet made of the same material as her soup container. She tapped it with one finger, and text appeared in flowing symbols that hurt Danny's eyes to look at directly. "My supervisor gave me this guide to human workplace behavior," she said. "It states that humans appreciate personal attention and direct eye contact during service interactions. The ceremonial cleaning bend is my adaptation of traditional respect gestures from my home world." Danny leaned over to look at the tablet, though the symbols kept shifting and moving. "What exactly does your supervisor think humans like?" Zara tapped the screen again. "Individual recognition, visual acknowledgement, and demonstration of dedicated service. The guide suggests that humans form positive associations with service providers who show personal investment in their work environment." Danny started to understand. "So you thought bowing at me would make me happy with your cleaning service?" "Yes," Zara said, looking hopeful. "Was this incorrect?" Danny didn't know how to explain that while her intentions were good, the execution was causing chaos in the office. "It's not wrong exactly, but human customs are different. We don't usually bow to each other at work." Zara looked devastated. "I have been making cultural errors this entire time." "Not errors," Danny said quickly. "Just misunderstandings. That's normal when people from different cultures work together." Zara was quiet for a moment, stirring her metallic soup with a spoon that seemed to be made of solidified air. "On my home world, we have 17 different respect gestures for different types of work relationships. I thought humans would appreciate similar acknowledgement. What's your home world like?" Danny asked, genuinely curious. Zara's face lit up. "Kepler 442b is a water world with floating cities. We have 3 suns, so our days are very long and bright. Cleaning is considered a meditative art form. Those who maintain living and working spaces are highly respected in our society." "That sounds beautiful," Danny said. "But here on Earth, janitors, cleaning specialists, they're just regular employees. We don't usually have special ceremonies for cleaning." "I see," Zara said, though she still looked confused. "Then how do I show proper respect for your workspace and demonstrate the quality of my service?" Danny thought about it. "Just doing good work is enough, which you definitely do. Your cleaning is incredible, and the way you organize everything is like magic." Zara smiled, showing those slightly unusual teeth. "Organization is mathematics made visible. I observe patterns in how you use your space and create systems that support those patterns." "That's really smart," Danny said. "But you don't need to bow to show me you're doing good work. I can see it in the results." "So no more ceremonial cleaning bends?" Zara asked. "Well, maybe you could save them for special occasions," Danny suggested. "Like if you clean something really difficult or if there's a big mess that needs extra attention." Zara nodded seriously. "Reduce frequency ceremonial acknowledgments for exceptional cleaning circumstances." "Only, exactly," Danny said, "and maybe the eye contact doesn't have to be so intense. Humans get nervous when people stare at them too much." "Ah," Zara said, making a note on her tablet. "Reduced optical engagement during routine maintenance activities." They sat in comfortable silence for a few minutes. Danny found himself relaxing around Zara for the first time since meeting her. When she wasn't performing elaborate cleaning rituals, she was actually easy to talk to. "Can I ask you something?" Danny said. "Why did you come to Earth to work as a janitor? You're obviously really intelligent." Zara's expression became serious. "The integration program allows young adults from my world to experience human culture while contributing useful skills. I chose cleaning because it is respected work on my planet, and I thought it would be similar here." "It is useful work," Danny said. "Some people just don't appreciate it as much as they should. I am learning that human social structures are more complex than our briefings indicated." Zara said. But I enjoy the challenge of creating harmony in chaotic environments. Danny laughed. Well, you've definitely brought some chaos to our office. But good chaos, if that makes sense. When they walked back into the building together, Danny felt like they had reached an understanding. Zara seemed more relaxed too, chatting about the differences between Earth plants and the vegetation on her homeworld. But as they reached Danny's floor, Danny realized their problems were just beginning. Mr. Peterson, the building manager, was standing by Danny's desk with a very unhappy expression on his face. Thompson. He called out when he saw Danny. I need to speak with you about your relationship with the cleaning staff. Danny's heart sank. This was exactly what he had been worried about. Mr. Peterson's office felt smaller than usual as Danny sat across from the building manager's imposing desk. Peterson was flipping through a folder of papers and photos, his face getting redder with each page he turned. These photos were taken by building security, Peterson said, sliding several printed pictures across the desk. Care to explain why you're spending so much time with the janitorial staff? Danny looked at the photos. They showed him and Zara talking in the garden, sitting together during her lunch break, and walking back into the building from the camera angles. It looked more suspicious than it had felt at the time. I was just trying to help her understand human workplace customs, Danny explained. She's new to Earth, and there were some cultural misunderstandings. Peterson raised an eyebrow. Cultural misunderstandings? Is that what we're calling it? It's not what you think, Danny said quickly. She was doing these ceremonial bows every time she cleaned, and it was making everyone uncomfortable. I was just trying to explain that humans don't usually do that, Mr. Thompson. I don't care about alien bowing rituals, Peterson said. What I care about is productivity and building security. Ever since your friend started working here, our productivity reports show that employees in your section are spending 30% less time at their desks during work hours. Danny hadn't thought about that, but it made sense. Everyone was constantly wandering around trying to watch Zara work. That's not her fault, Danny said. People are just curious because they've never seen an alien before. Which brings me to my next point, Peterson continued. Someone posted a video of her cleaning routine on social media. We've had 15 people show up this week asking for building tours. Yesterday, a group of alien enthusiasts tried to get into the elevator with fake visitor badges. Danny felt his stomach drop. I didn't know about the video. 200,000 views and counting, Peterson said grimly. The caption says alien janitor performs mysterious ritual for human coworker. Your face isn't visible, but several people have tagged our building's location. This was getting worse by the minute. Danny had just wanted to help Zara fit in better, and now they were both in trouble. What does this mean for Zara? Danny asked. The alien worker's visa status is under review, Peterson said. Immigration services are concerned about unauthorized public exposure. If she can't maintain a low profile, she'll be transferred to a different work program. Danny felt a surge of protectiveness that surprised him. Over the past few days, he had come to genuinely like Zara. She worked harder than anyone else in the building. She was incredibly intelligent, and she was just trying to do her best in a confusing new world. That's not fair, Danny said. She didn't ask for people to make videos or show up here. She's just trying to do her job. Fair or not, it's reality, Peterson replied. The integration program has strict guidelines about maintaining normal workplace environments. This situation is the opposite of normal. Danny spent the rest of the day thinking about what Peterson had said. He watched Zara work, noticing how she had toned down her cleaning performances since their conversation. She was still incredibly thorough and efficient, but the elaborate bowing and ceremonial aspects were mostly gone. But people were still watching her. If anything, the crowds were getting bigger. Danny overheard someone from the marketing department planning to bring their friends by during lunch to see the alien cleaning lady. That evening, Danny stayed late to talk to Zara after most of the employees had gone home. He found her in the supply closet, organizing cleaning chemicals with the same mathematical precision she applied to everything else. I heard about the visa review, Danny said. Zara's shoulders sagged. Mr. Peterson informed me this afternoon. I may be reassigned to agricultural work in a rural location, where public interaction is minimal. That's terrible, Danny said. You love this work. I do. Zara agreed. Creating harmonious environments brings me joy. But I understand the complications I have caused. Danny felt responsible for the whole mess. If he had just ignored the Boeing situation instead of making it into a big deal, maybe none of this would have happened. What if we could prove that? You're actually making the workplace better? Danny asked. I mean, besides all the gawking, has your work had positive effects? Zara pulled out her tablet and showed Danny a series of charts and graphs. Workplace efficiency in your section has increased by 23% since I implemented optimized organization systems. Employee satisfaction surveys show improved ratings. For workspace cleanliness and organization, 3 people have commented that they can find their supplies more easily. Those are real improvements, Danny said. People just need to get used to having you here. But how can they become accustomed if I am transferred before the adjustment period is complete? Zara asked. Danny thought about it. What if we could show management that the initial excitement will die down once the novelty wears off and that the long-term benefits of your work outweigh the temporary disruption? You would advocate for my continued employment here? Zara asked, her golden eyes brightening. Of course, Danny said. You're the best janitor this building has ever had, and you're my friend. Zara was quiet for a moment. I have never had a human friend before. Well, now you do, Danny said, and friends help each other out. They spent the next hour working on a presentation that highlighted Zara's contributions to workplace efficiency and employee satisfaction. Danny helped her translate her mathematical analyses into language that building management would understand and appreciate. As they worked together, Danny realized how much he had come to value their friendship. Zara saw the world in ways that challenged his assumptions and made him think differently about everyday things. Her perspective on work, organization, and human behavior was fascinating and often surprisingly insightful. Tomorrow we present this to Peterson and whoever else needs to see it, Danny said as they finished up. We'll show them that having you here is good for business, and if they disagree, Zara asked, then we'll figure out another plan, Danny said. I'm not giving up on this, walking to his car. Danny felt more determined than he had in years. He wasn't just fighting for Zara's job anymore. He was fighting for the right to have different kinds of people, even alien people, in their workplace. And for the first time since this whole situation started, he felt like they might actually win. The presentation was scheduled for Friday morning at 9 o'clock. Danny arrived at work an hour early to find Zara already there, polishing the conference room table to a mirror finish. She had arranged their presentation materials in a precise, geometric pattern that somehow made everything look more professional. Are you nervous? Danny asked. My species does not experience nervousness in the same way humans do, Zara replied. But I am experiencing elevated anticipation regarding uncertain outcomes. So yes, you're nervous, Danny said with a smile. Peterson arrived exactly on time, followed by 2 people Danny didn't recognize, a stern-looking woman in a business suit introduced herself as Ms. Rodriguez from the immigration office. The other person was Dr. Chen from the Alien Integration Program. Let's make this quick, Peterson said. I have a busy morning. Danny started the presentation, explaining how Zara's work had improved efficiency and employee satisfaction in measurable ways. He showed before and after photos of workspace organization and presented the productivity statistics Zara had compiled. These improvements are impressive, Dr. Chen admitted. But the integration program's primary concern is maintaining low-profile work placements that don't disrupt normal business operations. With respect, Danny said, I think the disruption has been temporary and largely due to curiosity about something new. Once people get used to having aliens in the workplace, the attention will die down. Ms. Rodriguez flipped through her folder. The social media exposure is concerning. This worker was supposed to integrate quietly into human society, not become an internet sensation. Zara spoke up for the first time. If I may address this concern directly, Everyone turned to look at her. Danny held his breath. I have analyzed the social media engagement patterns, Zara said, pulling out her tablet. The initial video peaked at 200,000 views, but subsequent videos have received significantly less attention. Current engagement levels suggest declining public interest, which indicates the novelty factor is diminishing as predicted. She showed them charts tracking the view counts, shares, and comments over time. The numbers clearly showed that interest was dropping off. Additionally, Zara continued, I have modified my cleaning protocols to eliminate the ceremonial elements. That drew initial attention. My work performance remains optimal while maintaining a lower public profile. Peterson looked surprised. You've been tracking social media analytics. I believe in data-driven problem solving. Zara said, human behavior patterns are observable and measurable, just like any other system. Dr. Chen leaned forward with interest. What other observations have you made about workplace integration? Zara's eyes lit up. Human productivity increases when workspace organization aligns with individual work patterns. Employee satisfaction improves when they feel their environment supports their daily tasks. Most humans appreciate efficiency improvements, but prefer gradual implementation over sudden changes. That's remarkably insightful, Dr. Chen said. Have you documented these observations? Extensively, Zara replied. I have been creating a guide for other alien workers entering human workplace environments. Danny watched the room's dynamics shift. Peterson looked impressed despite himself. Ms. Rodriguez was taking notes. Dr. Chen was practically glowing with excitement. This is exactly the kind of cross-cultural learning we hope to achieve, Dr. Chen said. Would you be willing to share your findings with other integration program participants? It would be my honor, Zara said. Peterson cleared his throat. All of this is very interesting, but I still have concerns about the ongoing disruption to normal operations. What if we implemented a trial period? Danny suggested. Give it another month to let things settle down completely. If there are no more incidents and productivity continues to improve, Zara stays. If problems continue, then we'll discuss other options. Peterson considered this. 1 month. No more videos, no more crowds of gawkers, no more security issues. Agreed, Danny and Zara said simultaneously. Ms. Rodriguez closed her folder. The immigration office will approve the extended trial period, but we'll be monitoring the situation closely. After the officials left, Danny and Zara stood in the empty conference room, feeling relieved but cautious. 1 month, Danny said. We can do this, Zara asked with a smile. We're a team now, Danny said. Friends help each other succeed. Over the following weeks, things gradually returned to normal. The novelty of having an alien janitor or office Zara had predicted. People stopped gathering to watch her work and went back to focusing on their own jobs. The social media attention faded as newer videos captured the internet's attention. But the improvements to the workplace remained. Zara's organizational systems made everyone more efficient. Her attention to detail meant things stayed cleaner and more functional. Several employees commented that they had never worked in such a well-maintained environment. Danny found himself looking forward to their brief conversations during the day. Zara would share observations about human behavior that were surprisingly astute, while Danny helped her understand cultural nuances that weren't obvious from the outside. 3 weeks into the trial period, something unexpected happened. Peterson called Danny into his office again, but this time his expression was completely different. I've been reviewing the quarterly productivity reports, Peterson said. Your section has the highest efficiency ratings in the building. Employee satisfaction scores are through the roof, and our maintenance costs have actually decreased because everything is being properly maintained. Zara's really good at her job, Danny said. She's more than good, Peterson replied. Corporate has noticed these improvements. They want to expand the alien integration program to other buildings in our network. Danny felt a surge of pride. Does this mean Zara gets to stay? It means she's being promoted. Peterson said with a smile, we're creating a new position, Director of Facility Optimization. She'll oversee cleaning services for multiple buildings and train other alien workers in workplace Integration. When Danny shared the news with Zara, she performed one of her ceremonial bows. But this time it felt appropriate. It was a moment worth celebrating with traditional gestures of respect and gratitude. "Thank you, Danny," she said. "Your friendship made this possible. Your hard work made this possible." Danny corrected. "I just helped people see what was already there." 6 months later, Danny's office building was running more efficiently than ever. Zara had trained a small team of alien workers who brought their own unique skills and perspectives to workplace maintenance. The integration program had become a model for other cities. Danny had been promoted to interspecies workplace relations coordinator, a job he never could have imagined existing a year ago. His days were filled with helping alien workers navigate human customs and helping human employees understand their new colleagues. On quiet afternoons, Danny and Zara would still chat during her breaks, sharing observations about their increasingly diverse workplace. Their friendship had grown into a professional partnership that benefited everyone around them. Sometimes Danny thought back to that first morning when he had walked into the office expecting just another boring day. He had gotten something so much better: a friend, a new perspective on the world, and proof that the most uncomfortable situations can lead to the most meaningful changes. And whenever Zara encountered a particularly challenging cleaning situation, she would still perform her ceremonial bow. But now other employees understood it was simply her way of showing pride in excellent work. Some of the human staff had even started incorporating small, respectful gestures into their own work routines. The building had become a place where different cultures could coexist and learn from each other, creating something better than what any single group could achieve alone. It was exactly the kind of future Danny hoped they were building together, one small understanding at a time.